G'day everybody, welcome to part 6 of the Speed Passion LM1 build series. Part 6 is going to be a little bit awkward because I was filming and I made a bit of a blunder and didn't get enough parts out, and I ended up looking for stuff that I couldn't find. So part 6 we will be continuing with part of the steering. We'll also be assembling the suspension arm, lower suspension arms, and installing the steering servo. Now I'll just do a quick recap, or a bit of a guide of what I was doing when I was originally filming. I have gone and put the servo horn and the servo mounting brackets on. Now that's fairly straightforward. As you can see, the servo I'm using is a Hi-Tech HS322 HD. So that's what I'm using for steering. I usually use a 425 BB for steering on these kinds of cars, on the electrics. Just because it's nothing spectacular. However, this servo has carbonite gears, which is pretty cool, I reckon. And so yeah, what I was doing, because I'm doing two suspension arms, there's no point in filming both of them, so I've gone ahead and done the right side, but I was actually in the middle of doing the left. So what I will go over, with the suspension arm, you need to install a pillow ball, a screw, and two grommets. Now with the two grommets that are in here, you'll need to pay attention to their orientation, because there is a little mark on them. Probably can't see the mark too well, but the mark has to face inward, so that's the outer part where the suspension, like the kingpin, will go for the steering knuckle, and this is what mounts the chassis, so that you want this mark to be facing inward like that. Okay, so also we have, if I can find it, there it is. This is a ride height adjuster. Now if you look closely, you'll see that there's like a inner circle. That is negative 0.5 millimeter ride height adjustment. For factory, it'll be up this way. As you can see, it's flat, so that's what we will be using for the factory specifications. So what we'll do is we'll place that in there. Now what we need is our two countersunk screws. Put them through. Now we'll need four 2mm spacers, so two for each screw. Now pay attention to what hole it goes through. So in this case it's on the outer hole, and because that also determines track width as well. Yes, track width, sorry. So what we'll do is we'll carefully lift up, and we'll get our 2mm driver. Just screw it in a little bit. That way you can do the other side. You can get it out. When you're doing it, just be careful that you don't do each side too far, because you might end up stripping the plastic on the grommet, because that's what it's not actually screwing into the suspension arm, it's actually screwing into the grommet. Alright, so that's pretty easy. Now what we'll do is we'll attach our steering servo, but what we will do first is we'll put the pillow ball in to the servo horn. Okay, now a little thread lock at the end of the thread. And we'll put our nut on the end. It's going to fight me the whole way, isn't it? Probably helps if I turn it around the other way. Yeah, there you go. Okay, so just tighten it up. Easy peasy. So now we'll mount the servo onto the chassis. Now on there you have two little plug holes. They will slot in quite easily. Of course this one's going to fight me, isn't it? You might find that you'll have to adjust the servo mounts just so it sits flush, because I mean not all servos are the same size. So what I'll do is I'll leave that one loose slightly, and we'll screw in the bottom screws here for the mount. Because the width of a servo, while they do try to keep them at a standard size, you'll find that there's probably just a slight difference with the mounting lugs on the side of the servo. Not a lot, but just enough so you can tell there's a slight difference. So now we just simply tighten it up. If I can find the hole. That's what she said. Alrighty, so that's the servo mounted, and we have our steering. So what we'll be doing next, shortly, not yet, we'll be making up the little steering rod that'll connect the steering rack to the servo. And next part, what we will be up to is the upper part of the suspension, so the caster blocks, the upper suspension arms, and kingpins. So stay tuned for part 7.